Ooh, I like that one. Yeah. You are listening to the Lost Minds. You say it, that sounds better. You are listening to the Lost Minds podcast.
Let's get this session started with a deep breathing exercise. And by deep breathing exercise, I mean, see on the inside.
Hello. What are you doing? Just making a podcast. Bet you cool.
That was a pretty good way to start. But anyways, welcome to the Lost Minds podcast, where by the end of the episode, if you ain't thinking, what the fuck did I just listen to, you're in the right place at the right time.
Yep. Just turn your mind off for a few minutes.
You got learned.
But we were kind of talking about a little bit of how it's funny how people like to will creep on certain things and then I guess it's not even creeping. It's probably you could
peeping.
You could just be maybe
stalking.
That's not
or
stalking.
interested. Maybe you're interested or maybe like curious. Like, man, what's going on?
Could you stalk someone if you know them? You could,
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah.
That's how stalkers stalk people.
Really, dude?
They know them.
I guess so.
Well, it's funny because we were talking. There's people out there that think that we don't know they listen to us, but we see you on the stats.
We know you're listening.
So it's kind of funny, but that was the same. The thing that really opened my eyes up to realizing that was when I was a lot younger and doing it on MySpace. How you could do pimp my profile or customize profiles, and you would download the stupid crap and then just paste it in there. And one of the websites that I was doing it on, they had you pick your profile and stuff, and they also had like app things that you could have on it, and it would say like mark who would come in. So it was like first time at analytics, and so it would almost pick your top. It was like your top 8 or whatever.
Your top snoopers.
And so it was like, who's your most popular people on there, who interact with your stuff more. It was almost like a weird analytics. And I was young at the time, so I'm like, all right, put it on there. And so I think you could still see it if you were someone coming in, because it was like a page you clicked to.
Do you have Herbert on there?
It surprised me, dude. The people that started looking at it, I'm like, what? I was like, I did not know this, most of the people that never interacted with me or did any of that kind of stuff was the people that did it the most. And so
yeah, like secret admirers and shit.
Or randoms. I was more like curious of who are these people.
A Chechnyan warlord.
A Saudi prince.
Yeah. He's like, he wants to reply to my emails.
But it was like really surprising too, because it was like of course people that you know, and that was like surprising, but also like how how far and vast it is. It's like same with this. Like it shows what countries it, and every time it's like random ones. Because it would be like, I'm like, oh wow, people in Japan, also boop, 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 popping up all over. Bloop, Chile, bloop, like the Tongan Islands and stuff like that. Like the Samoan Islands.
Just one
like,
person
whoa.
flying around on a private jet.
That's so badass.
Hugh Hefner.
He's
honestly,
like, man, these guys are trash, but I love listening to them.
The world's smartest man that just needs to be dumb for an hour.
The world's most interesting man.
He's like sitting there, he's like, this is the one place that one quote fits all the time. It's like, one man's trash, another man's treasure.
Think about when you get to the president's level, though. He's got to know to the T who's hearing stuff or knowing stuff.
Oh.
We got a guest caller.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Is it?
Okay.
Put him on. Put her on.
Hey, you're on
Oh, you
live
shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't have said
at the Lost Minds podcast. Say something.
Vagina.
All right, that's it. No.
Whoa.
Sorry. I had to hang up.
We're going PG-13. He actually hung up on her head.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's keep going.
We're going to get banned from YouTube.
I'll have to actually make it explicit content and stuff. No, I always make sure I check that because they always say that, you could get in trouble if it being like content that's not there, but I wonder if you would or not.
You think a new YouTube's going to pop up?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be hard.
I was honestly thinking about that because now they're doing all this stuff with like celebrities. You seen that shit? It's pretty much instead of it being like YouTube, it's like past celebrity tube. Like they're just getting weird shows where instead of you got to see like creators kind of do that. So like I make knives, or like the one was like you'd see people make out these crazy workout videos, and so they do their own thing. We're like, oh, this is kind of like a YouTuber. Now they're doing like Kevin Hart with working out, and so you're like, oh,
that's on YouTube though, right?
Yeah. Or same with like now Will Smith does a vlog, and you're like, oh,
Basically,
yeah, it's
basically,
like,
it's not just
oh.
like the little man that's making videos. It's
Well, I
the
mean,
big people that have already made it are starting to use YouTube.
the little man can make videos and get millions of people to watch. The people who already got millions of people watching them, why don't they get in on that cash grab?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like Jimmy Kimmel show, like it's always hits trending. It gets the passes on a lot of things that a lot of the YouTube creators don't. It's kind of weird, and it will sometimes just get the push listing. It gets the head listing,
Yeah.
No, but
because
what I'm
and then
thinking
it
is,
comes
like,
in as like paid sponsorship too.
Is there
Like,
going to be another website that's going to pop up that's going to be just like YouTube, but it's going to be actually free, where you could post whatever you want?
I think something like that will. The only issue with YouTube is at least what I heard when I was watching an interview with the dude from YouTube is he said that one of the downsides of YouTube is it's never turned a profit. Like so many times that it's done it, that it never turns a profit. And every year it's losing money. It's always like kind of in a debt, but yet there's so much money coming in. At the same time it's going out that it's kind of like just like
Kind of like an auto body shop.
Yeah, it's like just tumbling. Yeah, it's just free falling. So it's just going. And it's kind of interesting, you know. It is kind of like a body shop, you know. Usually they'll be either really, really high in money or they'll be really low in money, but it's just there's so much money coming in and out, it just doesn't even matter. And that's kind of, I feel like, how that is. But
What's the one website where they like actually post like a bunch of graphic videos and shit? It's kind of
Live
like
Leaks?
Which one?
Live Leaks.
Live leaks.
That's kind of YouTube-ish, but people post some crazy shit on there. And then
Yeah.
there's other random crap on there. Nothing like surviving in the woods with $10 from Walmart or that, but
yeah.
On Live Leaks, he gets killed by a bear at the end. That was a really good video until he got mauled.
Yeah, the Live Leaks, it's crazy because it's free, but I'm not sure if it's a company or if it's maybe someone bought the domain Live Leaks and bought all the Google AdSense or whatever and put all the little things up. Because whoever loads those videos up, you know, they're not probably, I don't think they're creators. They're not really getting paid for it. Do you have accounts on there?
yeah, you can create accounts.
Actually, I should figure that out before I speak on that. I'm actually not sure, but I'm assuming that you don't get paid like YouTube with it.
I'm not 100%.
Because, like, if you do, if it is like YouTube and you do become a creator and you do turn a profit from it, that'll be interesting. I wonder if they're turning a profit with those type of videos and their AdSense all over the website, or if you don't and then only one person. Because either way, someone's making a lot of money off that. Either some of the creators are, or like the
Or
company
Live
Live
Leaks
Leaks itself. Yeah. Because it's almost like, what's that guy, Kim.com or something, you know? Or what did he do?
KimJongUn.com?
No, it's not.
Jong-un.
Oh my goodness, it's not the. What is that thing that he even got in trouble for it? He got indicted. That Kim.com
WikiLeaks?
guy. No, it's kind of like WikiLeaks, except for he hosted a website where people were buying and selling all kinds of crazy stuff, and then he got in trouble for it. But he's like, he wasn't making money off it, but
Pirate Bay?
might have been like Pirate Bay.
LimeWire. Napster.
No. Dang it, I forgot it.
It's okay.
But like that guy, anyways. I know, huh? It's like that's probably a crucial thing. Someone fact check that. Pull that up.
Let's
I
go
guess we can pull
fact
that
checker.
phone.
We forgot we haven't hired anyone for that position yet.
Yeah.
As soon as people start buying our merch,
It's,
we got to create more jobs, people. Let's go.
we should
taking
make
our
America great
jobs.
again.
Make this podcast great again.
Try to make this. Hey, there we go. I'm gonna make a shirt like that, making that podcast great again.
Oh, great. We just put it on the air. Some fucking lurker is going to listen to it from Japan and make 1 million of those T-shirts.
Hey, but we can make
Send
our
us
own
one
That's
at
really
least.
Cool.
Dude, I was looking at some T-shirts. This guy walks around Japan. He's a Japanese dude, and he asks people what their shirts say because they all have like English writing on them. And one of the girls was walking around with a shirt that said diarrhea on it. And he's like, "Why are you wearing that?" She's like, "Because it looks cool."
that's
He's
funny.
like, "Do you even know what that says?"
Dude, it's like probably people here with all the tattoos and stuff. They're like, hell yeah, dude. What does that mean? The guy told me it means waterfall, or it means sturdy rock. Some guy's like, that means like a hefty shit. It's like, damn.
He's like, "It just means a hard rock." He's like, "No, that just means boner, dude."
Yeah. Hard as a rock, strong like bull. What's that mean? It means like erection.
They were all laughing.
He's like, I thought they were laughing with me, not at me.
And that's a hard part, even going back to social media, too, is who the fuck didn't silence their cell phone? This is like
At least mine. Oh, we got a special guest.
Chavo,
What the fuck?
speaking Bosnian. Chicken.
No, why would I know where that's at?
Speaking,
Here, let me put him
Speak
on
in
speaker.
Bosnian, dude.
No, I don't know where that's at. Why would I know
Is
where
it
that's
Chip?
at?
Zachep.
Because I don't know if you know where we're just at.
Zachepe.
Let me ask you this: have you checked anywhere instead of just calling me?
At Mama's Bovo.
Yeah.
Mama
No, you
Spada
haven't. Go check the shed.
Speaking.
Alright, which one are you talking about?
Make it fun.
Oh, definitely. Okay, never mind.
God damn it, Demir.
There's one shed.
Okay.
Oh, we put too much pressure on him, dude.
Great, dude. Now he's
Dude,
gonna
feel
probably
bad.
call you back. And
That's like how like my little brothers work. They're just like, we got a problem. First thing we do is we're going to call Admir and we're going to see what he's got going on. Hey,
Yeah. So how are you gonna fix this problem? Like they're like your little managers or something. Hey, we got a task for you. We've been told this that you need to do that. Yeah. What the?
how are we going to
Why don't you
fix
come
this
on over
problem?
here?
I'm like, have you checked anywhere? Well, yeah, we checked everywhere that we could see from this position.
It's like, should we look around or should we have Admiral come over and do this? Admiral. But
So I guess
it
this
might be a good
episode
thing.
we're taking callers.
I know.
Call us right now. 450-670.
518.
210. There's like 37 numbers in there.
Do you think it's do you think at some point you think we'll get to that, or do you think we'll get to less numbers? Like, do you think they'll start implementing like fucking letters? Because you know how before,
that would suck
when I remember when I was
ass.
little, dude, even when we used to have to remember numbers, I only had to remember like the first, what is it, 7 numbers. Now you have to have the area code. So now you got more, and then pretty soon, like even some of them, they'll be like dial 1 before dial, and so you're like, what? So you got 1-801, and then
Now it's going in the future. It's going to be like dial a 2-1 before it, and you're like, 2. Is that? Do you want me to dial a 2 and the 1, or do they just want a 1-2?
Does he want a 2 and a 1, or does he want a 21?
yeah, like what about with that 5G shit they're like talking about, or even if it's like some kind of satellite phone, like 5G, don't they have to like fucking put something in the air or like atomize some shit, or isn't that what I heard?
Everybody has to breathe in some sort of dust.
It's like they got to do something like have some kind of, I don't remember what it was, like
Atomizers.
atomizer or something like that. They have to prep something for everybody, for the area to have 5G. And
So
I'm like,
your
is it
skin
different?
doesn't melt.
Yeah.
You think it'd be like a different number?
I heard it was supposed to like fuck with your brain.
Yeah.
5G.
Hey.
You can't go that many dimensions deep into our cell
You're like,
phones.
whoa, dude, I'm a polygon.
Dude, I'm fucking rocking 5G, bro.
Fucking hold on. You're missing out, bro.
boys.
They're like, you look like just a fucking 2-dimensional paper character laying on the ground right now. Just like, moving back and forth. But, I just imagine you on the ground, like, spinning. Whoa, this is like 5G, bro. But even then,
I'm in another dimension.
like, think about if we have 4G now, or even like Wi-Fi. Because you're like, Wi-Fi's here now. I'd seen some video. I'm not even sure if it's true or not, because I didn't like really fact check it. But a kid had done a science fair project where they had. He just grew 2 different things. One, he grew a set of plants by the Wi-Fi thing, and then one just outside. And the one by the Wi-Fi was like fucking just dirt. I don't know if it was by a window, he didn't water it, whatever. But the other one was like grown normal. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, dude, I wonder if like Wi-Fi is bad for us. We just don't know. It's like radio waves going through our head and scrambling our little
Probably
brains.
getting cooked.
I wonder if it's like a little bad. Because
you only need one account.
where did it come from? Is it like so? Is it radiating it, or was it just always there? Was there Wi-Fi when Columbus was around?
No.
Or how do you know? That's what I'm like.
Brick's like, how the fuck do you know?
Like, please explain to
How
me.
was
I'm
there
curious. I
Wi-Fi
need to
when
know.
Columbus was around,
I
though?
guess because you have to have something projecting the Wi-Fi.
Oh, so does it push it out then?
Yeah,
So there is something coming out of routers. It'd have to,
it
right?
has to. Something has to. Like something's got to be coming out of.
Because I was like, Wi-Fi, is it just in the air?
what
Like all of a
antennas
sudden it
are,
just,
dude.
but it just flies through the air, like with microwaves and radio waves.
Magnets.
dude, that's why whenever I send a text message, I aim my phone at someone I don't
Yeah.
like, so that message hits them, and I'm slowly taking away their life force.
Yeah, but it
like
flies in like a wave though, like a radio
0.0005
wave.
HP take.
Does
Isn't that
it-
weird?
so
So it's
does
like
it-
light waves. So it's like light hitting you.
But does it expand in every direction? So, like, let's say I send a message, text message. Does it expand from my phone in like a bubble in all directions until it reaches the satellite, or does it like literally go in a straight line to the satellite?
I wonder if I imagine it has to go straight towards it or something.
But it has to go so fast
But how would
that
it know where it's
pings
at?
off a satellite that's a billion miles away from
More,
us.
you think more like sonar, like
Yeah, in every direction though, like up, down, left, right, and like a circle. So as soon as you push the button, it's like a little
like
text
a
message
dome, like a
explosion
shield, like a wave of like a freaking what are those? Like a little.
until it hits the first radio tower. So when it hits the first radio tower, ding, you get pinged to another. But when it does that, that radio tower explodes again. Boom, sending your message in all directions till another radio tower picks it up. And then boom, it sends another one till your phone, the receiving one, catches that wave.
Hits it.
And then you're like, whoa, dude.
Does the wave like change the air when it moves, do you think, to like move through it? Or is it like a wave just pushing? Moves the air? Because like say a person's in there, it's like bling. Or it's right next to it. It's like the text message is right in front of us. It goes through our face. We just don't see it, you know? It's like these little microwaves inside. It's like, yeah. It's like making our skin get like, man, why are we so wrinkly? It's because the phone's like fucking giving you a tan, a weird low-grade text message tan.
Well, so isn't the blue light supposed to be fucking with you?
No, that's an LED light, though. LED is fine for you. That's why playing on your computer, you're good because you're just looking at LED lights. But people who are looking at their phones constantly sending text messages, they're getting slapped in the face with Wi-Fi waves.
Wi-Fi donguses.
So you ever see that picture of the truck driver who drove for like 30 or 40 years and half of his face is like all wrinkled up?
Oh, from the window? Whatever.
Yeah, from the sun hitting him on one side. That's how people's faces are going to look from cell phones in 30 years. They're just going to be like melted squares right in the middle.
Tan right on their faces. What happened?
You're an iPhone guy,
But remember when you were like little and stuff? They're like, don't stand next to the TV, you know, back up, all that kind of shit. It's gonna burn. Yeah. Don't you think that these things still probably fuck up our eyes, right?
I don't think it's as bad as the old ones do, because if you open up the old ones, they have a fucking magnetic coil in the back.
It's true, but I guess even then, because like,
them up to start them.
Like if we're looking at the sidewalk when we're walking down the street on a sunny day, that's like looking at the fucking sun. It does as much damage.
Or on a snowy day.
Yeah, snow is like fucking almost just as bad.
You can go snow blind.
Yeah. That's a fucking trip. So, what is the LED like just producing its own little thing to make it okay?
I think they're just micro lights.
I think they're small enough individually that they take a lot of the brunt. I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm getting even more curious about all this stuff because, I mean, even now with you having a little baby, I was thinking about, I'm like, say, you know, you have a little kid come in here. Like, how do we know? We've barely been using these things for 10 years maybe, you know? We haven't even had it long enough. We've barely been testing cigarettes long enough to be like, yo, dude, these are bad. And we're like, but we cool, though, yo.
We look cool dying.
And they're like, no, these are bad, dude. But yet we just kind of keep it going and stuff. And so I'm almost curious if that's a similar thing.
Well, just think about it this way. If technology is bad for us, at least we'll die having fun and having Pornhub and black.com.
We always gotta have our essentials.
We gotta have your essentials.
Because like that, it's like a double-edged sword. Like even like with that Facebook thing, we always I bag on social media because I find it so weird, and sometimes I can tell that there's just people when they're posting stuff. I'm like, man, these people are just like either in some kind of I don't know turmoil or like they're just being like I don't know. It's just weird. Where I'm just like, man, dude, this is kind of a weird little place, and Facebook unknowingly just with the algorithm can kind of funnel you into these little groups and stuff like that, and so people can feed their own ideas, you know, being like, oh, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, blah blah. And
the weird thing I don't get is like, so I game on my spare time, right? Like fucking hardcore, dude. I got my glasses, my socks, everything, dude.
To protect you from the LEDs.
To protect you from the LEDs.
Special.
They're like yellow.
And no, they actually do have.
He's Dr. Disrespects.
Dr. Disrespects, motherfucker. I got him for free in one of his montages. But anyway, people keep giving me shit. They're like, dude, how can you just sit there and like do nothing all day? And I'm like, look, you sit at your house and do the same fucking thing. You talk to your friends online.
Yeah.
On a website that you created a profile of a fake you.
Or they come over and we sit in the same room and then instead of sitting in a chair right next to each other, or like a chair that's like whatever millions of miles apart, we got to sit in a chair right next to each other, dude, in case you get frisky.
Got to touch legs.
Netflix and chill.
You know, Netflix and
chill. Is what they call it nowadays.
Which isn't bad though. That's the other thing that's like the double-edged sword on it, because to be able to connect to like that is like no other, and that's so awesome to be able to still connect with randoms that you hardly knew, you know, or say you went to high school with some person, you're like, man, I have these friends from high school, and 10, 15 years go by, and then all of a sudden they're like, I don't know, making badass knives or some shit, and you're like, dude, I gotta totally hook you up, man, give me a knife, man, how much, you know, I want one of those babies, and just...
Let me give you one that's the biggest piece of shit you've ever held in your life.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this motherfucker, he's like, crosses you off the list of like the people who wanted to like kill, you know, it's like that fucking Billy Madison thing. But just think about that, you know, because maybe back in the day you might not know unless you happen, I'm going to go in this store, you know. Where the heck you're making the knives here? But now you can like advertise it, be connected, and And even with the Facebook store, you can see all the people who are doing it, and you're like, oh, dude, I remember this kid. Shit, I can even just go say what's up, go get that, blah, blah, blah. And you can
Facebook store.
Yeah, they have it's like the marketplace where you can just basically upload wherever you're trying to sell, freaking socks, shoes, whatever.
It's kind of like classifieds, right?
Okay, so except for you see like the profile who it is, and so you go, oh man, Jimmy's selling this. Hey Jimmy, I came here for the vibrator.
It's like
It posts it up for everybody to see.
Like, oh, this is embarrassing. It's like, but I was on
Recently sold items, vibrator to brick.
Yeah.
why'd you buy that? Christmas gift for someone else?
Yeah, wish
But
list.
it's used.
July, dude.
Free item out of your wish list or whatever. It's like, what? There's like bonus in it.
Oh, dude, that would be so funny if people could see your whatever you've been searching list kind of thing.
Oh, no, it wouldn't.
People are just like, wow.
That'd be so
I know
horrible.
what to get you for Christmas.
Oh, Amazon. Dude, it would be horrible for them.
Linked up on Facebook. That'd be so horrible.
For me, dude, people would just find stupid shit like ball caps. I got a new monitor mounted to the belly.
Metal detectors.
Imagine how much
Metal
imagine how much shit you'll find out about other people. Like,
Dude, then we can probably become best friends. Because you got to think about it. Like, how do you become best friends with someone? You both got to know something dirty little secret about each other. And then you both got to agree to not say nothing.
Yeah, dude. That's the creepy part about the AI too. Say like you were in a like with the phones now. If I'm like, hey dude, you stupid motherfucker. Hey man, I really don't think that's a really cool idea. Blah blah. The phone fucking saves that. So even though they're like, oh yeah man, he's pretty good about it. The phone knows that you had like an emotional little thing, and so like, if that thing were to just kind of map that over time, it would have such a better understanding of you. They could just plug that into the clone version of you that they had when they took your stem cells when you did 23andMe. And the next thing you know, you just come home and you're like, hey, what are you doing here? It's like a better looking version of you. A little bit taller, more freaking glassy looking skin, a little buffer, thick chisel. All of a sudden he's like, huh, it's a
Looks
dumb
like a
boy.
Greek god
Thin,
version
nice
of you.
accent. It's a dumb boy.
Just shoots you in the fucking head.
It's like Rico Suave. It's like walks off, and it's like, what the heck, Because like easily, it's just like that. I don't even remember that show, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he did.
Terminator?
I know
He
what you're
shows up, he's the
thinking about.
clone, and then the other clone took him or whatever, and they're like, oh, he's just like blowing the cake candles on his cake. But then again, it's like, say you make that clone and say you're at your house, and then the clone gets out, and all of a sudden you're just at home, and the clone thinks it's you. And you're just like at home with your kid, you're like, ready, Jimmy? You gotta blow the things out, and the clone kicks the door, and don't, he's a fake. And the clone just is living there, like that Rick and Morty shit. Next thing you know, they've killed their people, they're living in that dimension instead. And, I mean...
It's possible, dude. It's possible that we're all clones right now.
It's true.
Watch their real selves walk in. We're here for the podcast. Oh my god!
That would
There's
be
3
interesting.
Admirs left. We planned this all along.
Dude, that's like the one. That's like Jet Li the one, dude. Remember that? And he keeps getting stronger and stronger. I wonder if that's how it works in like the thing.
Dude, it's like this book I was reading. It's called The Long Earth, where there's like infinite.
The long Earth theory.
Yeah. Well, there's like it's like
not
Another
flat
theory,
anymore.
dude. They're off the flat Earth one. They're back on the long one.
it's just called The Long Earth, but basically like people can step left or west or east, and when you step into another world or dimension, and you could keep stepping east or west.
Step to me, son.
So,
step. Go on, step off.
Except stepping east or west, there's no people in either of those. The only people are in the very first one, right? So, like, people start spreading throughout these worlds. But it would be kind of cool if there actually were multiple versions of yourself to infinity. Like,
Is that how that
That'd be
world's
horrible.
supposed to be?
no.
So, like,
Okay.
Pickle
Take 'em
Rick.
out.
Cool. You could just step over there. Yourself is in the same room doing the same thing. You just get a little bit stronger.
But do you think that goes? I think to the weird question too is I don't think it would be yourself. Say like right now, all of a sudden a clone of you just popped up.
I'd break his neck.
Dude, and if you guys were
Get
to
a
come
little
back
stronger.
here, we're like, dude, we got a rendezvous tomorrow. We're gonna have a second podcast with both you guys once you talk or whatever, and you guys sit down here and talk. I bet you guys would be a little bit different already. And then
Yeah.
in like a
He'd be
month,
different than me.
you guys would be
Neck would be
different. Next
like
thing you know, you would instead of being like twins, you'd be wearing different clothes. You'd be like, dude, what happened to the twin thing? And he's just like, man, I don't know. I want to have a couple I want to have some frosted tips, dude. Like, paints it, and next thing you know, like, dude, which Admir? And then he looks like all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's like wearing tighter shirts and stuff like that, and just like
Damn.
showing a little more skin. And he's like,
Sounds
man,
like my kind of Admir. We might get to know each other a lot better.
Oh, no. The first ever
The first ever.
that'd be so funny.
clone marriage.
Because don't you think? I always wondered. I'm like, at that point, even if it were to make a clone, if it's not trying to kill you and be like, think it's you. If it's like, man, I'm a clone of you. And you can be like, yeah, you're a clone of me. And if it realized self, like, oh, I'm a clone of you, and now I can be my own self and doesn't want to be crazy and kill you. Dude, it'd be a whole new person. He could, like, live a life and stuff like that.
He'd always be my clone, though.
You'd be like, you're my slave.
He's like, yeah, I'll be your clone, but the cops are after you in 17 different states.
Dude, that's so funny.
You better run.
This guy committed a bunch of crimes.
I wonder if it's that formidable, huh? You're like, no, you're my dog. Get down. 4 knees. Hoof. Walk around. It's like, have him do my chores. Get the grass. It's like, nibble
Go to
the
work
grass.
for me.
I want you to cut the grass with your teeth.
Get your food, too. You're vegan. You're vegan now. It's like,
You can now. I make your decisions for you.
like a little billy goat. So go hiking and shit. It's like carrying the packs. Come on. Fuck. So how do you explore and
response
get
to clicks?
If
Do
I
that.
was the clone, I'd just be like, I'd put up with it till I got stronger than him because I'd always be carrying the packs. And then one day, I'd walk up behind him, break his neck. And I'd be like, he had an accident, fell down the cliffside, was being clumsy.
No, you'd be like, my clone had an accident. Fell down the
Yeah, there you
cliffside. And they were like, oh, Admir. We know it's you, clone.
Then I'd be like,
Oh.
breaking necks. Dude, I'm used to it now because that's my nickname.
They call me neck breaker.
Think I'm
Neck
neck breaker.
breaker. That's why then you have to have some kind of serum that you have to give them. They have to have every day just to survive. And you'd be like, you kill me out here, you won't know the combination to the safe, and you'll die in a day's time before you reach the town. And you'd be like, oh shit. You take those odds. Oh, that'd be so funny. It's like a total lie. It's like Bubble Boy, you know, when he gets told, he's like, because that's what's so formidable, like children, when they get told something and it's so crazy. If they blindly believe that all the way to their, like, you don't know any difference. Like with Bubble Boy, you have a disease, you can't go outside. It sits in that toe. Yeah, so he's like, yeah, you have no immunities. And then even everything, he's getting ice cream. I never heard of frozen ice cream before, and he's like, yeah, he's like, frozen, no germs, it's good. And he's like, oh man, and he's like, but he really doesn't have it and everything, and it's just crazy because and especially if you don't get the outside contact, if it wasn't for the internet, if you weren't able to be social, you know, and allow yourself to get watched, I guess, you'd never know. You'd be in your own little bubble, dude. It's like people that never get to go even outside their, like, city or even
their own town, and they're
or
just
read
stuck
books
in their
from
own
outside
religion.
there. Yeah, exactly. As I was kind of getting to.
I just find it read your mind. We're clones.
Dude, if some of these like people that were doing churches here, like one of the Christians, Mormons, or freaking Jewish people, yeah, and just allow a couple neck breaks. What is this? Read this one instead, and this one, like any of the.
What if I don't want to?
Like any random one, dude. The Kabbalion, fucking, they could read the Bhagavad Gita. They could read
The Buddhas.
Tao Te Chi. Yeah, they could do all that shit.
Damn,
like,
dude,
the
there's a
Four
lot of
Noble
names.
Truths.
Yeah.
Dude, there's
That's
a
like
lot of
4.
different. That's what's crazy. There's just so much different shit, and I've been listening to as many as I possibly can now.
LeBron James.
Dude, they sound all the same to me. Well,
You know,
it's different for each area, but they all like fucking cover the same shit. They're all like trying to do the same shit. They're all, it's way more similar in the grand scheme of it.
Geographical. Don't even worry about it, dude.
It really is.
Don't even worry
Well,
about
It's
it.
so
what Rick's saying,
provincial
dude.
wherever you're at.
because we need to get a giant, like, earth grinder, and we just need to grind all the geographies together. You know, because everyone's stuck in their own little bubbles, and they're all becoming isolated in this one thing. So just imagine if you took, like, half of Utah and you, like, stuck it right into India. How fast that would get, like,
Or, dude, know what we should do?
melted in.
There we go. We'll take something up to the polar ice caps. We'll melt them, dude.
If flood, everybody push
And we'll
everyone to the
push
center.
everyone into one group. We'll get a group of.
Pangea.
I
That's
bet
what
there's
I've
a
been
bunch
talking
of
about
other
this whole
people.
time.
We could recruit other people if we keep it secret. I'm sure that we can
We
create.
could keep it secret for sure. No
the-
one would ever
We'll
even
call
know.
it the Illuminati.
Illuminatis, dude. And we'll just
We're
get a
gonna
bunch
melt
of
the ice
babes,
caps,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, dude. It'd be the Illuminatis.
They're
dude.
like, we all need you. Yeah, they all just line up on the ice caps and start tanning. So it's like right behind them, a direct line is just like melting the ice behind them because they have the little, face reflectors,
Yeah.
which I've never seen. I've always wanted to see them. I'm not sure where anyone get those like folding weird mirrors things.
They're just giant mirrors.
Where the fuck would you get one a folding mirror thing? I've never seen like one by like the pool department.
Double the freaking sun, dude.
Dude, that's gotta be horrible.
It's got to burn the fuck out of
You thought your phone was bad
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to have no double chin.
because I'm trying to melt my face off.
But now I guess you don't have to worry about that because of the cell phones. You just like when you look down, you know how you always have that face like you're like.
Yeah, it's just tanning you perfectly.
Now it's just tanning from underneath, dude. Man, you've been growing a beard from underneath? No, why? Fucking all these fucking people getting these little
Cell phones are
hairs
like
growing.
hair growth treatments. Just Whoa, shit, dude.
That's
Fucking
some hair
microphone just attacked me. Oh, it came out of nowhere.
It's like, I'll show you hair growth. Like, that's taking it from me. Because we came along far away from that, dude. Just think back in the day, in this pretty much this area, there would be conflict with. It wasn't even like, what, 200 years that there was like blazing the Wild West? 100 years ago, maybe? They're blazing the Wild West? 1890, maybe?
So probably
1776 was when we founded it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'd say 1835 was the starting point when Captain Admiral Akbar.
Huskick?
It's good. They were scalping people back then, dude. We're like, it's crazy. Like, the people are taking hair.
Talk about a haircut.
dude.
Take a little off the top.
It's like, oh, god damn. Don't be a pussy, dude. It's like, I'm not being a pussy, dude.
You're a pussy.
I'm being a bitch.
Alright, so I'm tired of shaving my hair. I can give you a really, really close shave. How close? Dude, that would be horrible.
You'll never have to cut it again.
But I imagine it'd probably be pretty fast, dude. It's probably like...
I doubt it, dude.
Yeah,
I don't think they had
I
any
don't.
good knives.
Dude, I bet they had some good steel. They had to probably been snaking them from them, but either one of the... If they caught those guys, dude, someone in that group had to have had a good knife. Even
Yeah,
the guy
okay.
they're scalping, they're probably like, thank you.
Yeah,
The
but
double
someone
it.
says, "Hey, let me borrow your knife." No, dude.
Someone's probably using like
back
a
up.
stone
I
knife, dude.
Sharpen this one.
A stone knife, dude.
That would
It
just
wasn't
be
that...
the worst.
Well, even then, it was still pretty good because even when...
You know how shitty it'd be to be the lazy guy? The one that just chops the head off and doesn't scalp him, and the chief's like, "Come on, Brick.
That's a
You gotta scalp him. You can't just keep bringing me these heads and making me do this."
He's like, I don't even know how you brought 30 of them here.
It's really cool. It's like a dog bringing freaking like, or like a cat bringing mice and stuff like that. It's really cool and everything.
He's like, I don't even know how you brought this many. This is too much.
And that's
I can't
really
even carry
not,
this.
dude. That's not that long ago either. We're like over here, yeah, no, or like how we have. I mean, we're arguing about way different stuff, but it's similar stuff. Because I think even I know you brought it up on here before. One example I like is that when we went to Browns Park and I was like, "You want to check out my grandpa's old Playboys?" And it was from like, remember, like
I don't remember that.
He's like, "Don't arrange me with that and shit." It wasn't me. All right. Well, not even allegedly. I'll keep someone unnamed. Let's say there's a kid's name. I don't know. Starts with A and ends with Amir. But like in it, it's like a 1950s one, you know, and it's like this old style. It's like
It was really old. It looked really cool, too. Like, there was some pretty good stuff in there, but I was a little scared of some of the things.
yeah, those ladies are definitely like our grandmothers by now, if not like. If we might be looking at some obituaries almost doing that thing, but the funny part is all the issues that they're writing about were.
There was a lot of drawings in there, too, which was funny as fuck.
You gotta have drawings.
Allegedly.
Yeah, you gotta have drawings. But the articles were funny because, I mean, reading is weird, but they had gun control issues. They were arguing still about like gay marriage and stuff like that, and something about with like food shortages and like nutrition and things along those lines, like trying to find healthy diets. And I'm like, man, this is like, and you could put that, you could update the photos in this and just set it in a new one, and no one would know the difference. And I think. Yeah, when we were like looking at it and stuff, it was just
Except for the guns.
Trying
that
not to
were
name
selling
any
in there
names
for
and
like
stuff.
$25.
Yeah.
You buy a fucking brand new rifle, a little repeater for like $25 and
But
one
it's
of
like
those.
nothing's changing, dude, and everything's happening so. Especially right now, everything's happening fast.
Yeah.
I think too fast. That's what I'm like kind of
Except for
crazy
space
about.
travel's not happening that fast.
Do we know, dude? Dun, 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 dun. Or do you think they're spoon feeding us like with Mars? I watched a video on that, so that's what I was.
Dude, I was watching a couple of videos on Area 51, and that was creeping me out. They had some fucking weird-ass computers back then, dude, that were doing shit that these computers nowadays are doing.
Imagine
I believe it.
the fucking 1% just up and leaving one day
Where would they go without
to
all
the
their
moon
freaking...
base that they've been building for the past 10 years.
No, dude, you've obviously never read Red Rising. You don't want to go to the moon.
I don't read nonfiction.
If you can like
It's
create your own
actually
ecosystem,
fiction.
Just kidding.
you never know.
Because, dude, we're like the freaking soldiers. We're like the fire ants. Okay? And they leave us here. We go fucking stir crazy. We start making mechs and robots. America and Japan are already fucking competing against each other, making robots. The 1% leave. We go crazy. There's no rules. You can make robots. We all start making robots. Then we're like, you know what? The reason we don't have food is because the 1% took all our fucking corn.
Like we're feeding the robots.
So, so we get bigger robots and we fly up there, and they're up there in
They're
their
really hungry. They
jacuzzis
eat a
and
lot.
shit. and we take them out with our robots. Take them out to dinner.
I don't know, man.
Break some necks.
It's interesting though. The whole thing is interesting, like space travel, and because even then, it's like you can argue, but it's like, man, how far off do you think they're like until they even launching people into space? Because you talk about it being quick, but
they were trying it in the freaking 1700s with catapults.
Damn. See, because wasn't like Back to the Future? Wasn't like the Back to the Future last year or some shit?
I'll have you know they're not catapults. They're called trebuchets.
It's like, here I go, Bubby. I'm under the first bed. How far did he make it? Not very far. He hit a tree.
Dude, it's like one of those
that thing would launch you fucking far, dude.
It's the ones that you slide out from underneath. You know, it's the heavy rock. So you're like, all right, sit on the thing. It just slide out from underneath. You just smack your head on the thing. Just tosses like a limp body. That's the trick, Scott. He's got it. It's like, well, dude. Even then, they'd never be able to get any research from that.
Star, you know that? You just
hit the freaking enemy castle right in the wall. It's like,
and that was
almost higher.
Crucial research, dude, to bringing us the society we have today. So you have to thank that man for the Xbox that you guys don't play on.
The guy was doing the X. And then start the sky.
It's crazy, dude. At that point, some of that shit had to come up because even though a lot of it did happen quick, a lot of it kind of did happen slow, like discovering ore, melting down ore, you know, even making limestone, doing all that kind of stuff, like tribal stuff. Until all of a sudden, really in like the last 10 years, where all of a sudden the cell phone thing, that's so crazy.
That's how they started throwing rocks, dude. They ran out of villagers. And
do you think it's alien encounters?
What?
Alien encounters.
Of the third kind.
Dude, I don't know, because I think we've been lied to so
technology.
long. Just because, like, how I remember after reading that Tesla book, I thought it was so funny, like, how, you know, Marconi and Tesla are having radio wave battles where they're sending Wi-Fi signals to each other, you know, doing, like, wireless communication. And then we're over here like, Thomas Edison invented the telegraph. Let's place some wires over the ocean. It's like, it's crazy. It was just because, you know, that he was in partnership with American Steel, you know, and of course that was way better. You can have way more wires, do all that kind of stuff. And it just so happened certain things got pushed forward. But at the same time, the technology has always been there. Like,
yeah.
It's so weird. It's just like, do we know? Like, how do we know that they don't have like some kind of hyperspace? Was
it Tesla picking up Marconi's signals from the English Channel? And he was in Colorado Springs or some shit like that?
Yeah, and they would go from
Halfway
Colorado
across the
Springs,
world?
they would go from Colorado to El Paso, Texas, which I was like, damn, dude. I mean, that's still good. Just like it's just crazy, too. And the part that was crazy is a lot of times Marconi was like stealing a lot of the stuff that Tesla was doing. But just imagine if they say they worked together. And that was the only thing because Tesla didn't like Marconi, and so they didn't want to work together or whatever. And it's like, say like...
But he was a thief, though, so he had a reason not to like
That's
him.
how everybody... That was the crazy part. That's how everyone in that whole society was. Like,
not Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla, because he was one of the creators and stuff. But that's how certain people was. But normally, dude, people will come and leech off that. And that's how, like, even with Thomas Edison, he, I mean, somewhat invented stuff, but everything it's just patent, you know? And so you're kind of like, oh, it's...
I think Tesla
is
could
it
have
good?
gotten
Is it
further
bad?
if he worked with those people.
I think so, too. Just also, I don't know, I feel like...
It's like two heads are better than one in a sense. Like, if let's say I had an idea about making a wheel or something, and I'm like, oh... You know, let's take a square and add a couple more lines to it. And then I'm like, okay, I perfected the wheel, but it's not a perfect round shape. It's just a square with a couple of the corners cut. And then you see it and you're like, well, let's cut a couple more of those corners. And then goes to Brian, he goes, let's do a couple more. And then I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's just shave it all the way around and we'll have a circle. Now we have a perfect wheel instead of just one guy
doing it.
Perfecting it. You had multiple people looking at the situation
But
that were up to par with you as far as scientists go.
Yeah, that's how I wish they would do it. And that's exactly where I feel like the problem is because they had a lot of backers and stuff. So one of, like Tesla's one that was really a secret for a long time, but was J.P. Morgan. But that was one of the biggest issues too, is because he wouldn't fund him for certain things because he wanted him to, you know, finish doing certain things that work on things that he had already made better versions of, you know. And Tesla was like, I don't want to do that. But everyone that was kind of like that, same with like Marconi and all that, everyone kind of got bought up by like an investor where all of a sudden some guy's like, I have this great idea, I want to do this, and this guy's like, man, that's perfect, I'm going to help you do that, but I mean, you got to help me in the same time. So everyone kind of took. There was always like a guy that was like the kind of the pursuer, the inventor, and then another guy that was like paying for it all. Where the inventor was like, "I want this to be me," but the person's like, "Well, man, they're kind of cut in and steal that shine." They're like, "Well, I'm the investor and stuff." And at the end of the day, when we look at it, that was like what Edison did. Freaking that shine through. I mean. If you
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly. If you look at it as if he's a businessman, like that's one of the best businessmen, especially in American history. If you look at it as far as like inventor goes, or like kind of things like that, it's like, man, maybe more shady on that like side. But it's like, and then it gets written in that book, and the next thing you know, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of fact, At least for me, taught the same all the way up until I get out of the school, and then all of a sudden, like, in this book. We learned that. It's like, well, the fuck? I'm reading an old book or something? Well, it's just, steps to get you there, baby steps. I'm 18. I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? I can read all these baby steps. What are you talking about?
I was going through my Facebook, deleting a bunch of stupid pictures, and one of them was like, in class, 1 + 1 is 2. On homework, 4 + 4 is 8. And then it's like on the test, it's like, Johnny had 18 apples and... And Billy wanted 14. How many apples did Megan have left? It was so dumb. But I was just like, it's so true because they teach you one thing. They never get the test.
You just imagine yourself, you're walking into like Harmon and stuff, and that same thing happens. You're like, fucking go back to that time when you're writing the test, and you're like, oh shit. You're just looking at him. You get all 18. Fucking Megan gets none. Sorry, I failed in class. She'd be screwed over. Cause
it's like a survival situation where you're stuck in a bunker with some people for 6 years, and there's enough food for all you to survive, and you're like, all right, Megan, you don't get nothing. I read this in a book.
That's funny. That's a funny thing too, is because actually learning math, how they're like, yeah, I always enjoyed it because you could do it from multiple ways. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But when I got in over at the community college or whatever, we took instead of taking one of my other classes, I took a quantitative reasoning course. Dude, it was weird because instead you just wrote like.
Because it is.
Yeah, because God said so, bitch. But you just write it in more of like story form, or you write it in a word and all that kind of stuff. And it made way more sense, and it made it more practical. I'm like, man, this is like because that's one of the things I'm missing. I feel like a core set of practical exam. Like, this is like practical math. I'm like, they're teaching you what math is as a whole and all that kind of stuff. When you learn how to add, plus, do all that kind of stuff. Then to apply it in a situation, that's the courses that I feel like they drop off on. Because instead, they implement the Sally sails seashores by the seashell.
Seashores.
But she's like, wait a minute, yeah. Wait, is it like SpongeBob? It's like a giant seashell. It's like water people and like a fucking seashell planet. But instead, you'd be like hung up on the numbers. And, oh my goodness, well, you didn't notice to look that all the words that you were looking at were misspelled. Oh, what the fuck, Because there's like could be a little trick thing like that. But I don't know. It's really interesting that those are the kind of things you get kind of told enough of it, but not how to apply it. And those are the classes I feel like you need to learn in all of the senses, even with like history and things along those lines.
Yeah.
What do I need to learn about this dumb stuff? What do I have to learn about? Yeah, not trying to run a business into the ground like that. Why can't I be a monopoly like this company or whatever? It's like, well, this is why. And okay.
I think that's one thing they definitely should have taught more. Like, I know most countries, most states, but I know there's a lot of people out there who don't know any of that shit. There's a couple of YouTube channels where you can go and watch where they go around town asking people name a certain country on the map, and people can't even point out certain ones. There's some people who couldn't even point out America, North America.
Or even name some of the capitals of them, which is kind of crazy. Like, for me, because that
gets a little bit harder.
Capitals are pretty hard, yeah.
Still, though,
Just
I mean, like,
bit.
say, like, if you own if you I think you should kind of know the capital of the nation. Maybe, or like, not the capital of it, but like, at least have like an idea where the main central places are and stuff like where.
But some people don't even know where the country of that is. How would they know where the capital is? If I was like literally there were like 30 people on this one YouTube channel that couldn't point out North Korea.
Because they could at least be like, I know
They're
people
like,
live by the, they live by the shoe. I know people are in the shoe, whatever. And,
property.
You're like, yeah, there are people in the shoe. Yeah.
your baby steps learning good, boy.
It's like, but I mean, like, I understand certain places, like, fuck, I don't know.
I guess it is baby steps. Now you got to teach them the countries first.
Yeah.
That does make it a little easier. See, if
You're like, everyone should know at least 3 provinces from every country.
we'll start with a zone. We're going to help you find zone. We'll start with, can you find the zone that is Russia? Just point anywhere that Russia touches. It's like, it's like
This one, that's America.
Close. How about right here? It's like that's the,
Or the US.
Hawaiian Islands. How about this one right here? That's the Maldives. It's like it's the smallest little thing.
This one's gotta be it. If I pick small, I can't be wrong.
Which is, it's intense, but even you hear people talk about like the finances one. I think that's so funny.
Finances one is pretty.
Like just how like you see the commercials and you hear about it all the time. People throwing around credit. Do that. You apply for this. You can get this type of whatever. Whether it's car, credit cards. Oh, this one got bonus that, bonus this. And even as a little kid, I like trained yourself. Dumb mom, just get this thing. You get a free Disney trip if you do that. And even, what the hell do you know about it? Because you get told what they want you to tell. But just to even have
Get a free Disney trip.
Yeah, even
Mom, buy the yacht. Buy the freaking yacht, Mom. We can go to Disneyland for a day.
Such an idiot.
You're a freaking idiot, Mom.
Yeah, and you'd be like, that's perfect. All right, I'll do that. And you just do it. And the next thing you know, it's like, well, you need to pay $600 down before that, And then after 3 months, your rates go up to 27% or whatever. Like, what the fuck? It's like, that's like death. But you'd have no idea because you didn't hear that in the class. You're like, I'm just trying to get credit and I'm going to use like a debit card and pay it off and stuff like that. And even when you still do it like that, it's like, well, then you got a debit card because then you're not even building credit because they want you to like use the credit. So then when you start using the credit,
Yeah,
then
you
it's
gotta
like,
get a credit card, dumbass.
and they want to charge double on it. And it's like, you motherfuckers. Like, but unless you were known how to do that and you're like, okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to, if I know if I do this and I can just pay this $500 down off this card and I'm going to get the bonus from that card. And in the next few months, you can just pay it off like that. If you had like an understanding of kind of seeing it in a few steps, I think that would do so much. Mm-hmm. I mean, but we have home ec or whatever they give you, which is they teach you how to fucking fry rice and cook an egg.
Kill yourself.
What else? They teach you some other dumbass shit health class. This is a pee-pee, this is a vagina. Dude, fucking you learn more of that shit on the internet or just talking between each other, probably from your parents anyways, dude.
Your older brother.
They just show you dumbass shit that never happens. This is a disease or whatever. Well, it's good to know, I guess, but like...
That is true, though. When I went through like school and high school, that's the one thing that like stuck in my mind. I was like, dude, I don't want to touch nobody.
Yeah, dude.
You guys all have fucking that on the
That wasn't
the
on
screen.
purpose, though, man. That kind of happened because it had to happen.
And I'm like constantly looking at people, and, like zooming in on their faces, like doing like a Terminator scan. Trying to, I got the image of the freaking picture the teacher posted. If their face looks like this, stay away. And I'm like, okay, I got it.
Think about that, and then, in all honesty, then even if it would to be weird, that's where they should continue. Like, even maybe split the class if they must. Be like, all right, here, women, we're going to teach you how to do fucking hygiene, how to use a fucking douche, how to clean yourself, do whatever. Dudes, over here, we're going to teach you how to shave your nuts, how to fucking know if you're, like, getting some kind of issue, how to know if, you have some kind of a UTI kidney infection compared to, like, a girl, because either person, it's easier for the other person to know, and between each body, you can't use the same tricks that they use to be like, oh, I have this.
That's why you got to find someone we just compare with.
Because say they're showing you like, oh my God, you could get these kind of diseases, or like you could have this baby and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well, how can I prevent that? Oh, well, dude, let me help you. Here's a million options. Use a fucking condom. Fucking go get if they were going to have, you don't want to have them doing birth control or those little things, but there's all those options. Teach them how to pull out. I don't know if you want to start talking about kids like that, I mean, there's like a million things, but they just get stopped, and they make you fumble through life, kind of on it.
Just
You're
like
like,
a whole
"Pull
team, a whole team.
Yeah. Abort!
No, it's a whole class just cheering you on. Come on, pull out, pull out.
Dude, that shit. It's.
You failed. You get an F.
I slightly stole that from
Next.
Monty Python in The Meaning of Life, or whatever. After like the part when he's like teaching them sex ed, and he's like, "All right, you guys ready?" He's like, sit down, shut up, or whatever. It's all the British people. And he's like, bringing in my wife. And he's like, you met my wife? And all of a sudden there's a desk that's like, turns into a bed. And he's like, I'm going to take her out for a fair time now. Because he's like, oh, British or whatever. And like, basically he starts having sex in front of all the kids or whatever. And like, that was like their introduction to it. And I'm like, that's a little interesting, Because in
When did you
Europe,
watch this?
dude, that's an older movie. I was a young kid, dude, probably like 10 or something like that.
Oh, I
12 years
thought
old.
you were making it sound like you watched it like last weekend.
No, it was a while ago. That one's pretty funny. I've only seen that one, I think, like once or twice. I haven't seen it as much as the Holy Grail or whatever.
So just now you're like decompressing those files that
Yeah,
you watched back then. You're like, your brain's like,
dude, no wonder why it worked. But then see, I'm like a 12-year-old kid watching a fucking movie like that, and then so you kind of already know it, and then when you go to school, you're like, that's the way it's supposed to be, and then they tell you some bullshit, and you're like, kind of like, oh. But you're gonna find out when you get old, and that's the other thing I hate too is when it's like you'll find out when you get older. Mm-hmm. If you're asking, you're fucking. It's too late. If you're old enough or not, like you're gonna find out one way. That's how I was. If I'm asking, so what do you got? You have to freaking like put your wee wee in there and pee. No, my God, no. They come from a stork. But that's not what that guy said. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the next person. Like to the next adult because whether they're old enough or not, they got that. All of a sudden, a light bulb popped up in the head. At least for me, I want to know. And I thought that the schooling, they just don't do that. It's probably because there's probably so many kids, right? I think if you could have like close teachers and stuff, but then again, I don't want I don't want no guy telling my kid how to pull out or nothing like that. That'd be so weird, such a weird course, But at the same time, it's super important, especially like clean yourself and do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. No way, dude. My kid's gonna go into 3 classes: wilderness survival for 5 years.
That would be a good class.
Then financial survival for another 5 years. And then space survival for another 5 years. He's going to be a typical astronaut redneck. He's going to be like, I know how to put a fucking airplane together with nothing but duct tape and a screwdriver.
Had 4 ducks.
And 4 ducks. It's like...
That's how you should do it, dude. Like practical, they use that practical implement. So yeah, you start learning fucking percentages in your math, and then all of a sudden they push it over, and there's your financing, how to adjust for stuff. Oh my God, I got this much APR. How much is my rate on this? Or say you go just to another country and you're switching currencies. Wait, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna go to this country. It's 1.1, and that's perfect, dude. Now that means you have to pay more, so all of a sudden you go give them 20, and then you get 15. What the fuck, man? I thought it was the way. Damn, you'd want that. I think that's where it should stop. Where they'd give you that practical exam, practical life learning, practical math, practical science, practical whatever.
I like going to countries where you give them $100.
Do they do that in private schools or no?
I don't know. I did do the I don't know about the really, but we did a wire to monastery school back when I was doing an electrical job, and the monastery schools were really cool because they had kind of a core work. But yeah, like when the kid was like curious about whatever, they like kind of let him do it. So there's like little kids out, and they had a workshop area. They're like hammering nails and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? He's like, tuk, tuk, tuk. And they're like, well, they want to know what it's like to build a house, and like you start by building hammers. I'm like, that's cool. Freaking little 5-year-old and stuff. How do you know this guy's not going to turn into like a badass carpenter? And it's like, say that's like this guy owns all of a sudden starts running multiple businesses and stuff because he's been doing it from day one. Just been slinging hammers, just got fucking forearms like Popeye,
putting a roof together.
And it's like that's the way I feel like it's a little bit more. It should be, And then
one man on the
and then you got the little fairy kid over there. He's like, no, I want to take photos. And so you give the little kid a camera or some shit, And he's like, I'm gonna take some photos. And that's basically how it was. There'd be like kids in there sitting on the computers, and it might be bad. Might get some people that aren't doing stuff, but you'll have.
Like you call them a fairy. You're like, yeah, little fairy over here want to take pictures. John, show them how to fucking build a house.
Because a guy compared to a guy,
so you take a picture of it.
Except for this guy's, got his badass DSLR full frame from Canon Mark D5. Got one big arm because it's really heavy to carry that big camera. He's like. So you never know.
It's either from carrying that camera or something else.
But that's the thing that's cool about humans. It's like to each their own. So like that kind of forms to it more. Whereas, when you're in school, you don't even really get to choose your schools or your classes until you're in high school and stuff like that. And then on top of that, your electives are very, very basic for what they are. Ceramics, or fucking, I'm going to do woodworking or I'm going to do manufacturing. No, I'm going to take if you're wildlife biology and all those other ones to try and maybe switch it up a little bit from what you normally have. Maybe granted the school system doesn't have the opportunities where it can do that. And that's where I'm like, where the fuck's our tax money going?
So to the freaking industrial complex?
If I could choose, my percentage would be like fucking school system, fucking streets. Because think about when we went to school, dude. I always bitch about it, but it's funny because we went to a whole elementary school that had no walls. The entire time I went to elementary, we had no walls. It's like, this is crazy, dude. And in our last grade in elementary, we were in fucking relocatables. And it's like, it wasn't even because they were building a new school. That's just how it was. They just hosted the big kids out and relocated. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, dude, it's like fish, man. When you got a little fish farm going, the big fish, once they start getting bigger, you got to take them out of the big pool. You got to put them in small pools with themselves so they don't eat the small fish.
You funnel them
They
in.
did with us, dude. They put the bigger kids in the relocatables, so we're not with the little ones. And then
Snacking.
next year, so we don't influence them, they throw us into a bigger pool.
I
with
wonder.
They say,
bigger fish, and we're small fish in there now.
I always wondered if that's why they did that, because they get away with the track thing, because it wasn't on track. And so instead of it being like 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then like there being actual freshmen, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, our school was shifted. And so usually the 6th graders are in the junior high, and then it ends at 5th. But I wonder if that's why they had us in reloads, because it is like that. You can't have them with the big fish with the little fish.
Yeah, dude.
So these when you school them
probably.
out.
We're
prep
nothing
them.
but fucking walking tuna for them, dude.
Yep.
Sushi.
That's the idea of the school system. I watched that thing with the Standard Oil. You know how Standard Oil ruled the world, and it became one of the bigger things. And sort of, we're based off the oil, and it's based. A lot of our currency is based off oil instead of off of the gold standard and stuff. And so it all kind of started from that. And then
Fish oil?
Regular black gold oil, natural gas,
Sprinkle some of that on my sushi.
motor oil, or whatever kind of oil. But like they would, olive oil. You keep going.
Almond oil.
Canola oil.
Yeah, they would get
Extra
all the oil.
Flaxseed oil.
I want all the oil. Freaking palm oil.
All of it. Put it all together. Mix it. Just jump in it.
Butter
oil.
Gotta get a drop of
that'd be
baby
so
oil.
horrible.
It's like, where'd you get the babies? We've been collecting them from the Underground Railroad. But no, they would like... They would like fund it, dude. They would like... So the oil
Underground
companies,
Rail-
they would fund everything because they're the ones that had the money. And so people were like, hey man, you're the motherfuckers. And so like they'd fund the government at the time. They're like, hey man, I'll do this. So they would only fund the schooling so much. And at the time, they made a standard system, kind of like, well, okay, make you learn this, this, and this. Because the guys, when they're doing Standard Oil, they only had, that's all they needed for workers. That's all they needed for people. That's all they had to know. It was the basics back then.
It wasn't called school. It was called training.
It was actually university, it was university, and so it's like, because the very first funded everything school-like thing was a university. It's like, what the fuck is this?
You think if there's like super genius kids, they get rid of them? That's why we don't see very many of them anymore. Like they take them to an off-site.
Edward Snowden was one of them, dude. You pick him up at age 14, he's like some kind of super genius, and then all of a sudden, like, he's a dumbass, dude. Fucking didn't even finish high school. Yeah, because
they took
high
him
school,
out.
my school, they know, like it's crazy. I don't know.
He doesn't even have his diploma.
I don't know. That's where I'm going to get into another question too. Is like, would you homeschool your kids? Because
No.
I've seen
that makes them weird.
No, I've seen homeschool groups where you have a certain curriculum. They do a lot of things online, and then it's like once or twice a week. You either have an area they go, or there's certain parents that the kids all meet together with the other kids in the homeschool. So like it's like you're technically in a class of 10. Well, shit, say your kids are like skaters or like freaking, and then you get them all together and you put them in their videographer class, and it's like, all right, dude, by the end of this month, you four, since your group, we need to have a video part. Each one of you guys need to get your video part. So that they're doing something they like. They're also, promoting something, and that's their extra curriculum outside of them working together, being like, hey, you guys got to get this done, and I'll drive you up whatever here.
Or you have a super smart kid, and he's like, Mom, I don't want to work with those stupid kids. They don't even know what Alt-F4 is. I get them with it every time.
Look at Elon Musk was homeschooled, basically like fucking Seth MacFarlane and these people, like kind of people that do kind of interesting stuff.
Because they're aliens.
Yeah.
Dude, check out that freaking bar. Doesn't it look like an F-16 flying?
Yeah.
No,
Boom, that's badass.
you trying to see things, dude? You've been like watching the skies.
If you, dude, I think it's like a disorder or something if you see faces in the clouds, isn't it? Like you're neurotic or some shit.
Psychosomatic? You mean like he can move things with his mind?
Yeah.
No,
means
like
that it's
you're crazy
radioactive.
or something.
Radioactive.
Like,
you see faces?
if you see, like, those blobs where they like get the paper with the black blobs on it?
Oh yeah, the Letman's test or whatever.
Yeah, and they show it to you. If you see faces in them, you're like a future
boogeyman.
murderer or some shit.
I hope someone does that to me and I'm just going to make some outrageous shit up.
Me too. I'll be
You're
like,
oh my god, that's a naked picture of you.
That's weird.
And then they'd be like, whoa.
No,
You're recording this, right? This is sexual harassment.
dude, that would be so funny. You're just like, whoa, damn, let me see that one. That's you naked?
So yeah, you're just holding it like, fold it up, put it in your pocket.
You're supposed to be showing me these pictures. You get the wrong files. He's like, what are you talking about, kid? This is just the bull, whatever they
Oh
call it.
yeah, the dude, you're like, damn, you call that a penis? That's damn, dude. And he's like, whoa. This is you. It's a card of you. I'm seeing you here. It's like, oh my god.
You make the scientist look like a jackass.
Yeah, you make him scared. And
Military
terrified.
police come in. All right, you're coming with us, sir. He's like, no, I swear I didn't give him anything. He's like, oh, dude, he was showing me every picture on his phone.
Look at this. You turn it to them. They're like, oh my god.
Actually, actually, it's a picture of him.
Dude, the crazy thing is, they could easily like implement that. Say the kid's an orphan and stuff, and the doctor would be like, "Let me keep him for experiments, and I'll use him for study." And they'll be like, "All right, man, this guy's crazy."
Oh, dude, don't even
Gotta
joke
watch the
about that.
kid.
You know how many times that's actually happened?
I believe
like
a
the
lot,
brain,
dude.
A lot, I bet. Guaranteed.
Pinky and the brain.
That's what he
Pinky
sounded
and
like.
the brain.
Rick, what are we doing today? Same thing we did yesterday.
You try to take over the world.
Take over the world.
And that cartoon's long gone, and we grew up on those kind of things, and yet it's like,
Animaniacs.
Yeah, we're weird as fuck.
yeah, we go watch.
Well, they got rid of those cartoons. They added in Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, but, like it's like that. What is that?
Make kids straight again.
That ride, Splash Mountain, where it's like it's called the Rabbit in the or whatever here in the Shire or whatever. If you read the original story or watch the original ride before they like, took it out, dude, that shit's so racist.
Oh, yeah.
They're calling him like tar babies and all different kind of things, and he's like, dude, the whole thing is all bait up on
what?
it. Like the Splash Mountain one, it's like our old school, like learning little stories and shit. Like how dumb, not even how dumb we were, but like the dumb shit that got kind of just put forward and stuff.
Yeah.
And just only a matter of time, we're like, oh shit, you know.
There's even a freaking Bugs Bunny one where he goes to World War II or some shit.
Yeah, think about
And it was like super racist, and Bugs Bunny was like being super racist, and they got rid of him.
That's crazy to think about. You know, now we're watching things where like, well, these cartoons are fine, but will we know, like, we'll watch them later and be like, damn, we shouldn't have had our... That's going to be nerfing our world even more. We can't be having our kids watch that, you know? They're watching Teletubbies, dude. They had a flingy on top and a round tingy on top. Oh, that... We can't use that, you know? It's like...
Dude, no way, dude. My kid's gonna watch all the crazy shit I watched. SpongeBob, to get him freaking... Give him some humor. I'll be like, you watch this, and you act like him, because he's fucking cold.
But
then you gotta watch some PewDiePie.
But it's crazy. We'll talk to people that will be joking with us, and like we have friends that never even got to watch Simpsons. It's like, who the fuck?
Yeah, the Simpsons were gold.
Which is crazy because people be like, I remember there's so many families that'd be like, I couldn't watch Simpsons. Dude, I don't know if I ever missed a Simpsons episode when I was a little kid. You know, I mean now I haven't seen them all, but dude, we'd never miss them. You know, and then there'd be families you'd be right alongside, like, I can't watch an episode.
There were
So
a couple people I know growing
weird,
up that
you know?
couldn't
Really?
watch that shit. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, "Did you guys watch that episode in middle school? Did you guys watch a new episode?" Not allowed to watch that stuff.
Even South Park, I remember people being like, South Park, like foul-mouthed kids. And even me, I remember the first time when I was actually like, I thought it was sneaking watching South Park. Started watching it, and I mean, it was like stupid. I mean, back then it was way more corny and stuff, but it was like, you know, kiss my ass, lick my balls, you know, that kind of stuff. And so it was kind of crude humor, but it was not bad, especially at the time when I was like over here, you know, I'm like a fucking little 12-year-old learning swear words and stuff, hearing words like, cunt, oh man, that one's a bad one, you know, and then
Dude,
It's
if I
weird.
was back in like middle school, back when we were like 13 or 14, whatever, if I had the resources that we have now, like you can go and get a flash drive or whatever for like $20, you can get 2 of them. Imagine like just loading them up with those kind of movies, going to the school, and you sell Simpsons episodes to people that are not allowed to watch them.
oh,
So like
shit.
someone's like, I can't watch the Simpsons. You're like,
Dude, I have those now.
what
We should have
season?
done that.
Boom. Open it up. It's like,
It's like,
Yeah, all
that's
these
actually
flash
pretty
drives.
cool, but why aren't you wearing clothes?
Yeah. You're like,
it's,
oh,
it's because these are heavy.
it's like all the pictures on it slowly like make an arrow kind of pointing. You're just kind of like, why'd that funnel me in right there? Oh, what the hell? You're just like, whoosh, grab him. So, I used to kind of not sell that, but it was funny because I used to record him. I think I might have even talked about that before. I used to. I have a few of the Simpsons episodes. I used to just put them in and record the channel. And so I try and record my favorite shows so I could kind of go watch them later and it's on the VHS. And I remember one of them what I did was Beast Wars, and I can't remember what I did. I did it and I watched a couple of them, and then I just put it in and I would just go and the tapes like 80 hours, and so I just do it every morning. And I remember watching it one time, and I watched it like it had like 2 episodes on it, and else, and the next one was like a news station or like infomercial. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Fast forward. I'm like, I did not record that. I watched Beast Wars. I got up every morning and watched it hit record on that channel as I was watching it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, the whole thing was like that channel. come to look on the VCR, it was switched to like channel 6 or whatever when it was supposed to be recording channel 3. But I was watching channel 3 because the inputs were
So it was recording channel 6,
a different channel, and so that was like my first things where I'm like, oh my god, it was like back where we talked about doing it with the radio, doing like that's how we used to. I used to download the songs. I would like remember trying to do that, play it and hit it, and I'd get halfway through it and it'd be all choppy, and I'd just be like fucking. Just record the radio, and then just not when there's no commercials and stuff, and I'd still have like the disc jockey. Hey man, that was sublime with what I got, And it's like,
I remember doing that shit too. You go to Fred Meyer and you buy a pack of 6 for like $3. You stick it in the freaking radio, and you're sitting there waiting. They're like, "All right, coming up next," and you're like, "All right." Starts playing. You push the record button. You jam out to the song. As soon as it ends, you push pause. You're like, okay, then you take it out, you take your little pencil, and you give it a couple good twists, and give it a little gap between the freaking songs, and then, boom, next time another one comes on, push record. Then you got your own mixtape. I remember making my own mixtapes.
Shit, mine was always choppy. I'd be like, oh shit, I'm fucking halfway
Yeah,
through the
sometimes
song.
you get the DJ on there, and you're like, fuck, I can't get just empty air now.
Yeah. I guess they didn't use that as much then, huh? Back in the day. That's the new thing, too. Pretty soon we're going to just go to sounds. We'll be honking at each other and making noises. Because we're switching from that. I'll take a double cheeseburger to fucking number 1, man.
Watch us evolve to sound like dolphins. Where we're like, oh yeah. Next thing you know, we sound just like dolphins, and we're ordering sandwiches like that.
Sounds horrible. Let's try not to make that happen, world.
It's going to happen.
They're going to want just text messages. Send me a message.
Look at text messages. We went from writing an entire word, like go F yourself, to freaking you, just the big letter
F
U,
you.
a freaking, what is those purple things called?
Arrows?
No.
Eggplant?
Eggplant, and then someone crying. And then it's like, oh, dude, motherfucker. He just told me to go fuck myself. It's like, dude, there's literally 3 things there. I know. What an asshole.
Yeah, thanks.
He didn't even put words in there.
Like AF, dude. I always see AF all the time now, and people are like, AF, and I don't know, I've been trained now. AF, autofocus, You see that in certain buttons, the way it works, the cameras. No, as fuck. Come on now. This place is hot as fuck.
Oh,
really?
dude.
Fucking really. Like,
I hate it when people say it.
KYS, dude.
AF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when they say anything.
You're like, just stop talking. I'm tired. It's like flopping your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
No,
that's what we
like-
should do next. Instead of emojis, we'll just do sounds. So like, boo. People are like, that's just fucking
LOL.
Rafflecopter did it close. We're just sliding our fingers now across the keyboard, and it like automatically does it, whatever. New times, hopefully for the better, I believe. But
Hopefully.
shit, I mean, we'll call this one an episode in the past, and then we'll on to the next one. It's a little moment in time. I hope you enjoyed that hour of history. They'll look back on it, our children, and be like, "You're retarded."
Yep.
Thanks for all
They
the
definitely
callers that
will.
called in.
Oh, there's some kind of special cookies just entered the room.
Yep. And we're gonna have to take a break, a breakfast break.
Are you trying to give me one? Can I have one? Or...
No, dude, you can smell them.
All right.
Whoa, wait a minute. Is this our guest caller that swore on our
I
freaking
know, instead of
podcast?
Vagina.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Now we-
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Now we-
Oh my god! Oh my god!